Hi.
Gosh.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm glad.
It's finally nice to meet you.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you as well.
I just remember what people have told me.
Okay. So
I don't know why I would even be calling.
From what I remember, this was last spring.
April.
So April, you were calling because you had an appointment earlier that day, an energy assistance appointment.
I did.
And you were kind of trying to follow up on that, and you had kind of thought that was a few days previous to it. So I'd seen you that morning about 9 o'clock. You had thought it was a couple days before, but we talked on a Monday, so it would put us on like a Saturday or Sunday. And we don't have the appointments open, so that kind of stood out as being off. Looking at your account, the payments coming in, your follow-up on all the communication that we had, you were always on top of your stuff. So for you to have the dates wrong seemed kind of off. And the more we talked, you talked about doctors had changed your prescriptions during that time. Things where you were feeling a bit off, and you were planning on having someone come by to check on you. And so we just kept following up on that as to, is your friend there yet? How are you feeling? You started to get a little bit more, quiet and lethargic throughout the call. And so just checking up, was asking how you're doing. Wanted to see if you were okay with the welfare check. To begin with, you just wanted your friend to come by, which I completely understand. And then later on, you were more susceptible to that happening. So we went ahead with the welfare check, and then when they came by, I got off the phone with you.
All I remember is the paramedics.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend had come.
Oh, good.
But I didn't remember her. She had to kind of tell me and fill me in. And then I remember it was kind of black. Everything was black, and I don't remember being conscious. But apparently I was up and moving and talking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember any of that. My blood pressure was so high. It was 228 over something.
Wow.
So my brain was literally, I guess, being fried, and I wasn't capable of even knowing what was happening to me. So the fact that you picked up on that is amazing. It's really quite miraculous that you picked up on it and you followed through on it, because most people wouldn't have. They would have just hung up and said, boy, she's having a bad day.
Well, and you kept saying that you're feeling off, and things weren't adding up throughout the call, and you kept talking about wanting to just go to sleep. So that's a pretty big sign that something is wrong, whether it's a head injury or a stroke or whatnot. That's usually a red flag of don't let them go to sleep. So
yeah, they thought it was a stroke, but I never was sure what the diagnosis was, if it was a small stroke or, but it felt like that.
Okay.
And all I remember is coming to, and there was a small space of light, and I was looking down, and I could see the paramedics' feet, their boots, and the top of their pants. And I remember them saying to me, we need to get you to the hospital, and you need to go right now. And they were very persuasive and very professional, and I kept saying, no, I don't want to go. And they kept saying, but you need to go.
Yeah. And
so they finally talked me into it, and I said yes. And all I remember is they grabbed me as fast as they could, threw me on that gurney, and bumped me all the way out to the ambulance. I remember the bumping, and I don't remember anything in the emergency room. I don't really remember anything until the next day. I did have another during the night when I felt conscious, and my friend was there, and my bishop from my church, and they were sitting there, and I recognized her, but I didn't recognize him, and I said, who are you? And that's all I remember. And the next day, after they got my blood pressure down to a reasonable place, it took them 3 days to get my blood pressure down. And so I was they had me strapped in the bed. I couldn't get up without people being there, and it was quite serious, really.
Yeah.
And I'm still grasping the seriousness of it because they gave me a diagnosis of dementia, which means I have a lot of challenges and struggles ahead. But I'm doing better.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
And I've stabilized, and I just want to thank you again.
My pleasure. It's something anyone should do, so my pleasure.
Yeah, but a lot of people wouldn't.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And you probably saved my life.
I'm glad that I did.
So thank you.
Thanks for calling.
I don't know why I called.
Josh, how did you know? Like, I mean, you say that, you heard her, kind of going, she was lethargic and you knew she shouldn't fall asleep. Like, how did you know, like, that was...
She started off a lot more alert at the beginning of the call, so it progressively did get worse. And in a short period of time, that's pretty obvious. Like I said, all of her follow-up on everything we've done before on the account, I hadn't spoken with her before, but she was very punctual with it. And so her not having the timeline correct of, meeting with her earlier that day, because it was at night, it was probably about 8 o'clock, and we saw her earlier in that same day, things just didn't add up there. And then with her talking about her doctors changing her prescription, that just made me think that, she was having a reaction to the medications that she was on. That's honestly where my mind went with it. So it just seemed pretty emergent, and things just weren't adding up. So I just kind of kept following my gut, and you were working together with me too, so it worked out.
Thank you. Of course.